Hey loves, how are you? Hope you are enjoying this beautiful eclipse day. I can sense deeply that we have aligned with and landed into the highest timeline potential, should I say? And there's definitely been quite a bit of shifting, as I'm sure each of you have experienced in your own way. And although I've been receiving a lot of different downloads, I actually feel guided to give that a little bit of space to process and just felt guided to dive into some messages to be supportive for you in this moment. And let's see what comes through. I the one of the messages that was coming through that I do feel guided to share was the truth will set you free. And we've probably many of us, if not all of us, have heard this saying before. And it's just so incredibly true that if we're willing to ask for, look at, and embody the truth in each situation, in each conversation, and in each scenario, it actually frees us up out of the old energies, out of the codependence, out of the karmic contracts, and allows us to move more deeply into our sovereignty and our unity consciousness. I was receiving more deep downloads this morning around the sacred circle. And I know many of you joined me for the restoring of the sacred masculine and feminine essences group that I did back last month. I'm going to drop that in the pinned comment for any of you who may want to partake in the recording of that. There was actually two recordings, and it was very powerful sessions for stabilizing. But I'm noticing that essence of continuing to focus on restoring our energies and essences is very, very important and powerful as we're moving into these deeper layers of embodiment, embodying more and more of our higher self, embodying more and more of all of our energies as we're thawing and retrieving all of our aspects and essences, not only from past timelines, past lives, from the ancestral fields. We're really moving into a time, if you haven't been already, I know that I have for a few weeks now, maybe a few months, but definitely very actively the last few weeks, working in the space of the original core soul wound, but also where that intersects with the ancestral core soul wound. So we're actually clearing out and retrieving aspects from our own personal experiences and lifetimes on earth, but also working with what we embodied into in the specific DNA that we incarnated to in this life. So it's kind of like, double mission. And we've been reaching a point where those two intersect. And as I'm saying this, I'm kind of seeing like, I do believe that this is what's been happening collectively in this build up to this eclipse season that we're in and going to be working with over the next month or so. So just have that awareness if it resonates with you, that may be helpful information um to partake in. Okay, I said I didn't know what downloads I was going to share, but here you have it. They just start coming out. This is an example of sometimes I just free myself of needing to know what's going to come through and just show up and start talking, and whatever's meant to come through does. And so this information I think may be supportive for some of you to kind of look at that perspective of how big this is and actually how deep we've gotten into this pocket of where we're able to free ourselves from those old energies, retrieving our soul essences and being able to move forward. So it's really come deeper to me that obviously this is what I do on this channel in general. But for those of you that want to go deeper into your own work, your own sovereignty, restoring your own sacred essences, and also supporting sacred union energies deeper and deeper for yourself and for our collective here. And however we're guided to anchor and stabilize that for the planet, that's definitely the intention of the sacred circle of love. And I do believe that that is something that I'm going to be offering consistently monthly so that we can really build a beautiful sacred container and really build some momentum as individuals, but collectively as a community. If you would like to join me in that, I'm going to drop that in the comment. And if I already said that, I apologize, but I'm in the flow right now, and a lot all of a sudden started downloading as I opened up the space. So, all right, here we go. Wow. Yes, the truth will set you free. Here we go. So, what I would like to do is actually get some messages around that for our collective here on the channel, that as we're freeing more and more of ourselves, sacred feminine, sacred masculine, what is it that we can be aware of? What could be helpful to focus on or to be a supportive during these times? Okay. We got jeweled web connectivity. And to me, this feels like, again, I know we talked about this. There was a message that came in through a week or so ago around the importance of opening up to all of our energy and potential versus like cutting off half of our essence, right? Like it's really important for us to be willing to look at all of the truth, right? Not just the good, not just the bad, but to really be looking at the extremes of things. And you guys, any of you who have been initiated onto a twin flame divine counterpart journey, know that this is what you have been initiated into, right? Is learning deeply how to navigate the extremes and neutralize and temper within those, holding space for the potential of all, but then ultimately aligning with your highest potential and your highest timeline. But we're getting there by retrieving those parts of ourselves that were frozen or stuck within the old spider webs of the old codependent dynamics that, some call the matrix, right? The old matrix. We're freeing ourselves from that and from the limitations within that so that we can move into these interdependent sovereign connections and truly embodying unity consciousness within, right? And at the core of these initiations is the essence of unity consciousness, right? Unconditional love for the self, unconditional love for others, and the unity consciousness of being able to look at all of the things, comfortable and uncomfortable, and still be comfortable in that because you know that you're holding the essence and the vision of the highest potential. Okay. And how we get there on this, or one of the ways that we get there on our planet right now, is through the process of transmuting and transforming those distortions, distractions, dissociations, and discomforts so that we can move into our full connectivity, right? And moving it from, instead of like the trapped spider web, we're moving into the jeweled web, where each is our own lighted up point on the grid where we're working together, right? We each have our own grid, our own space, our own web, so to speak, but not in a way that's entrapping or ensnaring, but in a way where we can come together and connect and expand the bigger web of the new energies working in the unity consciousness. But if we do not untangle ourselves out of the old webs, parts of our consciousness or energy are still there. So this is what we're unraveling, clearing, thawing, and freeing and retrieving for ourselves. This is deeply connected to what I just spoke about going into the core wounds and the ancestral core wounds and the core soul wounds, and retrieving your essence from all of the things and the places and spaces that you feel guided to. Of course, if you feel guided to this work. Actually, I know you're here. You've probably been doing a lot of this already. So this is simply to offer that confirmation and support to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Good job. You're retrieving more and more of your essence, embodying more and more of your essence, and being more and more present in each moment in your true power on earth is a big part of our main purpose here as a collective. Okay. Preparing for embodying the inner union to be able to sustain the sacred union essences and unity consciousness within ourselves, on our planet, within our collective energies, okay? And in whatever partnerships you choose to embark on, right? Those interdependent energies. All right, what else do we got? What other energies are we stabilizing into if we choose to or supporting at this time? River of blessing, receiving constraints. Gorgeous. So, as we're freeing ourselves from those old energies, we immediately open up to new potentials. So, this is a really important thing that I have found that if I'm closing something out in my life, right? There's a stream of energy, if there's a dynamic, if there's a pattern that I'm closing out, after I close it and honor it and thank it for everything that it's taught me, I give myself a little bit of space to process it. And then for me, I immediately open up to the new potentials of a transformed version of whatever I just experienced. Because at the end of the day, any parts and things that we're closing out, okay, we do want to keep moving, right? Like we want to unravel out of the spider web, but we don't want to just sit in darkness of no potential. So if you're closing out or unraveling and untangling one spider web, right? You clean that up, you untangle it, you unravel it, you get into your own stream, and then you open up a door or a window of potential for the new river of blessings that is on its way to you. Okay. So a lot of times in the past, we would close things out or freeze or wall or block or whatever have you, right? And I'm not saying if something is not in alignment with you, yes, you close that out. You protect yourself, you handle your business, you set your boundaries, you do whatever you need to do. Okay. And then when you're ready, and as soon as possible, right? You don't have to push it or force it or fake it, but you open back up energetically to the higher version of what you were actually looking for in your life, what you're actually wanting to experience. Okay. So it's making me think of this conversation I had the other day with someone who moved away from religion, okay, and all of what religion had been teaching her, right? She wanted to expand into another vision, which I get, right? When we're shifting, we close things out. Like, okay, that stream of what she was taught didn't resonate anymore, so she closed it out. Okay. Well, through the conversation, what happened is I gave a different perspective around some of the religious concepts from a more spiritual perspective. And it reopened up a pocket that surprised her because she was like, oh, I just thought there was nothing of value in that because of how it came to me. And then she was able to look at it in a new perspective, like, oh, there still can be very much um value in the stories and the lessons if we're looking at it from the truth perspectives, right? Versus like a man-made story formed from control, with the actual original essence and intentions of the stories that have been passed down. So of course you can resonate or connect with it however you choose, but in essence, it's like, yes, sometimes we have to close out a stream because it's been limiting and suffocating and controlling us. But it doesn't mean there was no value in that container at all. Sometimes it's like letting go of everyone else's voice and projection of what that meant, truly freeing yourself into discovering what those stories mean for you. And this is very, very powerful. And this is very important. And now I feel like I want to actually address it specifically for counterpart energies. Okay. Because a lot of times I see, we know we go into these and we think I'm supposed to be in unconditional love. And then we go through a pocket of time where we're still overgiving in the connections. Not everybody, but this does seem to be somewhat of a pattern that we see where there is a lot of overgiving and thinking of self-sacrificing for the connection. Well, if this is my divine counterpart, if this is my twin flame and we're supposed to be together, then I have to figure out how to make it work. But that's still in the old codependent karmic dynamic. actually, right? What we're truly meant to do is to use the mirror that's being offered and to move into our sovereignty, to learn how to have healthy boundaries, to learn how to love ourselves, to learn how to have unconditional love for ourselves so that we can truly have unconditional love for our counterpart. And when you start to reach those true energies of unconditional love for yourself and you're holding unconditional love for your counterpart, then there is no more need for those projections or expectations on your connection. Okay. Which, if you are not there yet, that's okay. And you want to know why it's okay? Because that's informing you of where to work and drop into. If something is still triggering you or making you upset, then that is mirroring to you where you're needing to show up for yourself. Okay. And as you show up for yourself and embody that, it should actually start to truly heal those frustrations or angers or hurts or pains because you're filling those in with your own love and your own protection and your own honor. Okay. This is why true unconditional love is only truly possible if you're considering yourself as part of the equation. You have to be considered in the unconditional love. You have to be unconditionally loving and supporting yourself, protecting yourself. Then you're able to do that for others. Okay, loves? So, this is as we shore up our boundaries, as we unravel out of those codependent karmic dynamics, but then we also allow ourselves to open back up to the full true potential of who we are and what we're actually wanting, we are opening ourselves back up to the river of blessings that is on its way to us. And how we get there is through this process of embodiment. It's through the process of addressing how we actually truly feel without judging ourselves and truly dropping into shoring up and embodying into the true unconditional love. But if we're ignoring the uncomfortable or we're projecting it onto someone else, we have missed the opportunity to drop into the truth. Okay. So this does not mean that others are not mirroring to you or disrespecting you or showing you some things that are unsavory. They may be. And this could be your counterpart, but this can go for other people. And it's very, very important that I think there's an also a deeper important dynamic that needs to be addressed within our collective because a lot of times the counterparts get caught up in this idea of like, okay, this is just one dynamic that's coming through. Many of the feminines are alone and their counterpart may be in a karmic or a relationship with another feminine. And so they drop into this energy of, well, I'm not in a, a relationship with another masculine, so it's not mirroring to me. But what's important that you may want to look at is where do you have a dynamic or karmic energies or codependent energies with other feminines in your life as a feminine? And this goes in reverse for any masculines here. Where are you having karmic or codependent energies with other masculines in your life? Okay. This is another extended dynamic that I think is very exceedingly important. And I want you to think about the boundaries that you're creating for yourself within a masculine and feminine dynamic, and also apply those to a feminine and feminine dynamic, and apply those to a masculine and masculine dynamic. It's important that we drop in the results of what we're wanting to create into our life, into all of the dynamics. We cannot hold a dynamic of what we want with our divine counterpart, but not hold those in all of our other relationships, because this is where we're being called to accountability for ourselves. We have to embody this in all of the other dynamics as well. Okay, loves. And I'm not saying that in judgment. I think it's actually really important because this gives us another pocket of space to work into and to look at so that we have space to actually truly connect in these interdependent sovereign energies and receive the blessings that we've been working towards receiving. Okay. So I believe these messages are coming through so that if because they're like opening up in a sense like a flower. They're showing us because we've come so far and we're reaching those kind of pivotal pinnacle points where we're ready to come into a more physically manifested sacred union energy. And so it's not that it has to be perfect, but it is important that we're embodying these potentials into all areas of our life and into all of our relationships so that we're actually embodying into our truth in all of the areas, not just in one or two. Okay, loves, I hope this makes sense. I hope that it's supportive for you, but it feels very, very important because the more I'm sitting with this, today's message is actually really pretty important for this stabilization of the sacred union consciousness into our lives on a daily basis, because what you're learning in your twin flame divine counterpart connection is for you. It is for your connection, but very, very much it is for the bigger overall new ways of being and new relationship dynamics, not just in romantic types of partnerships, but in how we're navigating and embodying into all of our relationships in humanity. This is how we embody and share the codes of sacred unity consciousness, right? Do you really sit and think about how big what you're doing is? You did not go through this initiation for nothing. You're not sitting here listening to this video for nothing, right? It's because you came here to embody these energies. And I know that you're in doing it. And this is acknowledging just how incredibly awesome, amazing, and huge what you're doing actually is. As you embody these energies for you, you are holding unity consciousness codes for the planet. All right, loves? Wow. Yeah, sit with it. Sit with that. Let that open up in your field. Just take what resonates, of course. All right. But you're doing beautiful. I'm super excited. And I think that we're probably going to be rolling through the week with more of these energies and supporting those. If you have any questions or anything specific has been coming up for you around any of these topics this week, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Let's kind of see what opens up and unfolds. And I'm looking forward to connecting in sessions this week. And for those of you who are called, my schedule is open for next week. And the Sacred Circle of Love is on April 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. For any of you who feel called to join, I would absolutely love to connect with you in this sacred space. All right, my loves, I hope you are well. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you very, very soon. Love you. Bye.